Coast to Coast Pick 5. $1 minimum. Player-friendly 15% takeout. Coast to Coast Pick 5. Weekends beginning January 7th.
The Coast to Coast Pick 5 back for its third weekend. We start with the January 21st card on Saturday at Gulfstream Park and at Santa Anita. Jeff Siegel along the handicap. We'll have Brian Nadeau in just a bit from Gulfstream. Here's the lineup for this week's Coast to Coast Saturday Pick 5. Santa Anita Park, race number 3 will get it underway just before 4 o'clock East Coast time. Starter allowance turf sprint in that one. Gulfstream Park will go back-to-back in races 9 and 11 in the sequence with the 6-furlong allowance race and a claiming turf route. Then back to Santa Anita for the final 2 races of the sequence, races 6 and 8, both on the turf. Maiden claimers in race 6 and the Astra Stakes, the marathon trip in race number 8. Jeff Siegel, time now to get handicapping on the sequence from Santa Anita. Let's start it off in race number 3. Turf sprinters here going 5.5.
Challenging race to be sure. Starter optional claimer. I really like number 2, Our Shining Light on top. Now I'm not going to single him, but he's a gamble for me at 4-1 for whatever that's worth. Very sharp, won second over this course, 2 races back, and ran behind a horse who came back and franked the form and won. And in that race, Our Shining Light was 4 clear of everybody else. Went up north for an all-weather mile race, won that for fun. Now he's back on grass, back shortening up to a sprint. Lightly raced 4-year-old gelding, improving with every start. I think he's going to win again. Again, 4-1 on the morning line. But for protection, you should also use number 6, Who's Candy, and number 3, New York Dreams. They've got good form over the course. And if for whatever reason Our Shining Light doesn't run up to my expectations, they're the logical alternative. So for me, 2, 6, and 3 in that order in the third race at Santa Anita.
Great expectations. Let's go to race number 6. It's maiden claimers here going a mile on the turf. Who's got a ring around them on your program?
I like number 2, Roy C., a comebacker. It hasn't been out since October of 2021, but Peter Miller has put some good work into this horse at San Luis Rey Downs. He's run well over this course and distance. He did that as a 2-year-old. Gets Juan Hernandez. I do not think he would be going out and getting the leading rider unless he thought Roy C. was fit and ready. He's properly spotted. Work pattern solid again, and I think he's ready to go, and he's going to get a great trip. For protection, number 5, the key is Unity. Number 8, Vita del Mundo seem logical, just in case Roy C. doesn't fire, but I think he will, and he's a gamble for me. Again, 4-1, number 2, Roy C. in the 6th at Santa Anita.
Let's turn the page to race number 8 at the Great Race Place, 1.5 miles on the grass in the Astra Stakes. These turf marathoners. We've got one coming from South America I know you have your eye on.
I do, but this is more of a default play than anything else. I can't find anything else I like. If I spread the race, I'd almost have to buy the race. And you may want to be able to do that if you can knock down some of the other races with 1 or 2. But for me, Australia Mia comes in for Michael McCarthy. Her form in Chile, for whatever that's worth, was very, very good. He's good with these kinds. Frankie takes the call. I think she's live. 1.5 miles off the bench. But she may have an edge in quality over some of the others who are just look ordinary to me. I'm going to take a stand and hope to be right with number 5, Australia Mia.
All right, single or spread? Jeff says single. We'll have Brian Nadeau up next to talk about the Gulfstream races. Joined now by Gulfstream Park handicapper Brian Nadeau, hanging out in the Silks room. Race number 9 at Gulfstream on Saturday. Brian, good allowance race and a lot of pace.
Yeah, exactly, JP. A ton of speed in here. Everybody seems to want to go in some way, shape, or form. So I'm going to go with my best bet of the day. That's number 5. Think about it. I think 6-1 on the morning line. Joel Rosario is here off the claim for Ray Handel. Ray doesn't have huge stats, but if you're not familiar with him, he's a young trainer in New York that's going to win races down here this winter. And for my money, Joel Rosario is the best closing jockey there is, and he's going to get so much heat up front to rally into. And this is a horse with back form that can play with these two. So think about it. My best bet on the day.
Long layoffs for Candyman Rocket. Perfect day back after almost a year on the sidelines. To the 11th race we go on Saturday at Gulfstream. This is a claiming turf route. Field of 11. Brian, there's a lot going on here. 3 horses coming off the claims, 4 trying the Gulfstream lawn for the first time. There's some X factors.
Yeah, and that's probably why I went with Cadet Courts, JP, because you have all those horses that you mentioned, some unknown. Do we like turf? Do we not? Can we handle this surface? We've got no worries about Cadet Courts, whether he can handle this surface or not, because he won over it 2 back, and he won with a race that probably is going to be better than these in here as well. You could go several different directions. Certainly number 7, the North remembers, who was good for me last time. I would use him if you're spreading, but if you need to be tight in here, I think Cadet Courts is the one.
Let's review the picks from Brian and Jeff earlier as we set up our ticket for this Coast to Coast Pick 5. Remember, these are recorded pre-scratches. Be sure to check out the official websites of Gulfstream Park and Santa Anita and on social media for updated scratches and changes. Good luck in the Coast to Coast Pick 5.